Okay, good morning. So up to Siman Reish Tzadi Dalet. Dinei Havdala b'Tfilah. So the halachas of saying Atah Anton of saying Havdala in Tfilah. Says the Mechaber, Oimrim Havdala b'Chonen Hadas. We say Havdala in the bracha of Chonen Hadas in Shemona Esra. V'imtav v'lo hivdil. And if for some reason a person forgot to say it, Mashlim Tfilasoi ve'ena chayze. He finishes off Shemona Esra and he doesn't go back. He doesn't. It's not a fatal error that he has to go back and repeat Shemona Esra. Because he's going to make Havdala ala kais later on anyway. V'im to'am kodim shehivdil ala kais. And if he ate something before he made Havdala ala kais, tzarech lachsav lahavdil b'tfilah. Then he needs to go back and make Havdala in tfilah. Let's see what that means. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Katan Aleph, Omrim Havdala, v'afilim nizdamin shehivdil ala kais mikaydim. Even if a person has the opportunity to make Havdala on the kais before that, before he's daven Shemona Esra, before he's daven Ma'ariv and Motzei Shabbos, mikol makom tzarech lahavdil b'tfilah gam kein. He still needs to say that in tefillah. So if sometimes you can be in that situation. You can be away, for example, or you and Ma'ariv is a bit later or whatever it may be, and you want to make Havdalah. Still, when you daven Shemona Esra, you still say Atah Antonu. If it says, look in the number 1, va'afim amakodim tefillah arvis. Baruch Hamavdin Kodesh L'chol Mavur Lekaman She'olov L'havdil b'Tfilah. And even if, say for example, straight after Shabbos, you want to, I don't know, go switch a light on or something, and you say Baruch Hamavdin Kodesh L'chol, and you haven't yet daven Shemona Esra, you still say Atah Antonu, because that's part of the nusach of Shemona Esra on Motzei Shabbos. Ve'i ik mitzvah Havdala derais drabonon I'm mashin she'nichtev Lekaman Reish Siman Reish Tzadi Vav. Okay, that's the big question, whether Havdala is derais or not, or drabonon. That we'll take a look in Hashem and Reish Tzadi Vav. Okay, so we add in Atah Antonu in the bracha of Chonen Hadas. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Daf Sif Katan Beis, v'kavua bebracha zu. Chazal instituted the bracha of Atah Antonu in this bracha, mipnei she'also litva tzarech of kodim Havdala, because you're not allowed to ask any request before you made Havdala. So therefore, they put it in the very first bracha, so that any subsequent bracha that we're saying in Shemona Esra is post Havdala, and therefore it's not a problem of being tovei tzrochov. Interestingly, if you look at number 2, the first in that paragraph, he says, "V'tam hadov v'kosa b'shayishuv zerashpa b'shem ha'Yerushalmi shekashem she'osa lasos cheftzei chol kodim sheyavdil kach also litvayas chefetzav kodim sheyavdil." You can't do any of your own activities before you made Havdala. You should do that first. Well, so too you can't daven for your own chafetzim before you made Havdala. And the Shulchan Aruch Harav explains the Yerushalmi she'osa litvei tzarech of kodim Havdala kamei she'osa b'Shabbos atzmo litvei tzarech. Just like on Shabbos you can't daven for your own personal needs, well, so too you can't do that before Havdala. U'mitam zeh, very interesting. Im shachach lahavdil b'tfilah kosav agon Chaim Kanievsky sheyitochin she'eino lahisif bakashas sheloi menusach hatfilah. Very interesting. If you forget Atah Antonu, you're halfway through Slach Lonu, R'fo'enu, and you think, oh boy, I forgot to think, you shouldn't be moisif any extra personal tefillahs, because technically you shouldn't be shel tzarchov before Havdala, and you forgot to say Atah Antonu. So that's a very interesting ha'ara that Chaim Kanievsky adds. Okay, minhag pashat. I'm 2 lines to the bottom of the Mishnah Berurah. Minhag pashat lo ma'atah chonen ad le'enosh bina. This is how we do it. V'achar kach Atah Antonu, and then you finish off the bracha v'chonenu me'itcha. That's our nusach. V'im hischil me'atah Antonu ve'elach. If you just went straight in and said that, yotza, b'diavad yotza. Im shochach mispal shachris time. If a person just forgot to daven Ma'ariv totally, then you daven shachris twice. Ve'ena mazkir Atah Antonu lo b'rishona v'lo b'shniya. And then you don't say Atah Antonu in either. But when is that true? When on Motzei Shabbos you made Havdala ala kais. But if for some reason you didn't make Havdala at all, the yesh olav adayin chiyuv mitzvah Havdala, there is still a mitzvah Havdala on you. Then yazkir Atah Antonu b'shachris, in which one? B'tfilah shniya, in the second Shemona Esra. So that's the tashlumim one. That's the replacement one. Shehila hashlama. V'achach tzorech lahavdil gam kein ala kais kedei lekaman siman reish tzadi tes sif vav. Okay, good. Sif Gimel, and then we said that if you forget to say Atah Antonu, you do not go back and repeat Shemona Esrei because you're going to be Mavdil ala Kais. Says the Mishnah Berurah, you've got in Gimel, Hainu de lechatchila mitzvah lahavdil bein betfilah bein bakais. You've got to do, their mitzvah is to do both in Shemona Esrei and ala Kais. V'hacha b'di'eved soimech atzmai al mashi yavdil achakach ala Kais. And if a person forgot to do it in Shemona Esrei, then he can be soimech on the Havdala he's going to make in practice with the Kais and with Psalmim and everything. Mikol makom asa le'eis Atah b'melacha actually have the bekais. He shouldn't do melacha because he hasn't said Atah Anton if he forgot. You should at least say that. So, for example, if you got your car in shul and you want to drive home, what's a Shabbos, but you forgot Atah Anton, at least say Baruch Hamav Ben Kodesh Shachol before you do a melacha. V'im ta'am, and then the Mechaber finishes off and said, V'im ta'am koydem shivdal hakos. A person ate something before he made Havdala hakos. Tzorich lachsav l'havdil b'tfilah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, because he's v'af agav the Chaim alon b'siman reish talitesif hey dim atah v'achol koydem Havdala yochel l'havdil achakach. He can still make Havdala afterwards if he by mistake ate before Havdala. Mikol makom kan the ta'ah gam b'tfilah. Since in this situation he's messed up because he didn't say Atah Anton in tfilah, and then he ate something, then kansinenle we punish him for tzorich lachsav l'spalav v'l'havdil b'tfilah, and we make him say his Shemona Esrei again. Very interesting thing. So a person, let's say, forgot to say Atah Anton in Shemona Esrei, he by mistake ate something. In that situation, he's got to repeat the Shemona Esrei again. I must say I didn't remember that. I didn't know that.
So we say good vach instead of Baruch Hamav. If you just say good vach, so let's say we say.
No, he didn't say he didn't say Atah Antonu. In other words, he didn't make Havdala in his Shemona Esrei. So and then he ate something as a knas for eating before he did any form of Havdala. Then he's got to repeat the Shemona Esrei again.
But if you see someone, you say good vach to them. Is that enough of
Havdala?
Yes.
It doesn't sound like it. It's got to be in tefillah. It's got to be in the tefillah. It seems. Yeah. Okay. Base. Let's finish off. Ta v'lo hivdil b'tefillah. A person made a mistake and he didn't say Atah Anton in tefillah. Ve'ein lo kos b'layla. He hasn't got a cup of wine to make Havdala on. V'soiver she'af l'mocha lo yelo. And he thinks that even tomorrow I'm not going to have a cup of wine. Tzorich lachsav v'lispalo. Because the whole svara is tzorich l'havdil ala kos. If he forgets Atah Anton, we soimech on the fact that he's going to make Havdala on a kos. But if he knows he hasn't got a kos, he's not going to get one. Then he's got to repeat the Shemona Esrei. Says the Mishnah Berurah, soiver she'af l'mocha. Because if he thinks that tomorrow he'll come to some wine, yuchel lismech al zeh sheyavdil l'mocha ala kos. Uchel de l'kam b'risalites sif vav. Ve'en tzorich lachzil b'tfilah. Therefore, he doesn't need to repeat the Shemona Esrei. For example, he hasn't got any wine at home. He'll go to the shop tomorrow, something like that. But if he knows that tomorrow I can't get hold of any grape juice or wine, then tzorich lachzav v'lispalel. Hainu k'she'oker raglov. That means dafka when he's finished the Shemona Esrei, or k'shesiyim tfilasei, or he's finished the tefillah ve'ein ragel lo matachalin machat tfilasei. The dinner gamkein ka'oker raglov. That's as if he's finished the Shemona Esrei. Chutei Abba Siman Kuf Yud Zayin Seif Hey Ayin Sham. Then chayzel l'rosh ve'im lo siyim adayin tfilasei. But this is a quite important part. If he hasn't finished his Shemona Esrei, chayzel l'birchas Atah Chonen, you go back to Atah Chonen. Miu im nizka kodim shemei tefillah lo yachzor. Very interesting. If you forget Atah Antonu, then we say you can be soimech on the Havdala ala kos. But if you're in the middle of Shemona Esrei, you can still say it. When? If you've passed Atah Antonu, you're halfway through Rafa'enu, Borei Choleinu. So you don't go back to Atah Chonen, but rather you say it in Shemei Tefillah. So im nizka kodim shemei tefillah lo yachzor. You don't go back. And a yom Atah Antonu b'shemei tefillah. That's where you do it. Ucheshemavdilin b'tefillah omrim avinu malkeinu hachel aleinu. That's how you introduce it in Shemei Tefillah. To Bakasha, because it's a Bakasha, remain Shemei Tefillah, and therefore it's included in the general brach of Shemei Tefillah.
Even if you know you're going to make Havdala afterwards?
Yeah. So let's say you're halfway through Rafa'inu, and you think, oh boy, Motzei Shabbos, I forgot Atah Antonu. So then you throw it in Shemei Tefillah. Because you haven't, it's not a fatal omission yet. You haven't gone too far. Ah, sorry, I was wrong. Im yeshlo kos, but if you know that you're going to have a kos, then yismech ala kos, v'lo yomer b'shemet tefillah, kimin de ikra shevach v'lo shaych kol kach l'shemet tefillah. I see. Sorry. So if you've gone past Atah Chonen, and then you know you're going to have a kos at home, you're going to make Havdala ala kos, then you don't say it in Shemei Tefillah.
18 is a very
18. Let's have a look. Ve'im nizka la'ach amiras Hashem shel birchas Shemei Tefillah kosav atila leDavid she'yisam lamdeni chukecha. Is that what you're saying?
And then the last word,
V'yom atachin antonu,
the next.
v'chein mashmalel le'inyan talamoto. Which is when? Tonight?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Gimel, there's no Mishnah. Let's just do the Mechaba. Tisha B'Av shechol yos b'chel Shabbos. If Tisha B'Av falls on a Sunday, ta'av v'lo hivda b'tfila, and you make a mistake and you forget to say Atah Antonu and Motzei Shabbos, which is Tisha B'Av, ein tzarich lachsav v'lispalal. You don't need to go back. Kivin she'Havdala lakos Motzei Tisha B'Av, because you're going to make Havdala on Motzei Tisha B'Av on Sunday night. Dalet. B'makom she'omer she'ein lachos v'lispalal. When we say that you don't go back to daven, miyad k'shesiyim habracha ein lo lachsa afal pi sheloi pasach b'bracha shlachreha. You don't go back even if you haven't yet begun the next bracha. It says in the Mishnah Berurah, k'shesiyim habracha hainu k'shehizke hashem shel habracha debazeh mikri ki'ilu kfasiyim achrenim. So once you said, for example, you said Baruch Atah Hashem Chonen Adoas, you said that, so then that's it. You don't go back and say Atah Antonu. That's considered the end of the bracha. Okay, hey, the last sif. B'makom she'amru she'eina chayzeh, in a situation where we say you don't go back, if a person wants to take upon himself to do the Shemona Esrei again, the Mishnah will say B'teres Nadava, you're davening a Shemona Esrei B'teres Nadava, im siyam tfilas rishai. He's entitled to do so. Avim madayin lo siyam tfilas. If you haven't yet finished Shemona Esrei, then ein rishai lachzor. You shouldn't go back then. Says the Mishnah Berurah. So again, if you finish the B'makom she'eina chayzim rotz lahachna as melachzor, then you can rishai. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotan Ches, B'teres Nadava. V'ayin le'el b'sof siman kuf zayin. De'ein tefillah Nadava ela misha makir asme zoriz v'zohir v'sheichaven. You only do a tefillah Nadava if you have in mind, you're confident you're going to have kavanah properly. And all the halachas with tefillah Nadava, that you've got to be moisiv something, etc. But if you're still in the middle of your Shemona Esrei, ein rishai lachzor, kiven de'ein tzarich lachzor havi hefsek. But since you don't need to go back, therefore it's considered a hefsek. Okay, so just to quickly summarize, we are adding Chazal with Masakin Havdala B'Tfilah, which means Atah Antonu and Shemona Esrei. If a person forgot to say it, then he does not go back and repeat the Shemona Esrei, because he can be somech on the fact that he's going to be mavdil ala kos. If he knows he hasn't got a kos, and he's not going to get one, then he needs to repeat the Shemona Esrei. And if he forgets in the middle of Shemona Esrei, once you've passed the bracha of Atah, then you don't go back. You don't go back unless you know that you're not going to have a kos, and then in which case you put it in Shemet Tefillah. Say that? Okay. Chodesh.